This is a good place for another thing I wanted to ask you guys. Yeah, I think the corporations, a lot of the big license holders, they have trouble realizing the importance of working together. That's my impression. And I wonder, what do you guys sense from that end? Do you sense any sort of desire to look into collaborating with the legacy market and working together like this? Or do you just see brick walls going up, or moats instead of bridges, in terms of working together on this?
Vlad, do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
All right. I thought you were going to answer. I just went. You go, Christine.
All right, no problem. I think that pre-2020, there was not a lot of interest in working with groups like myself or with Vlad or with Legacy or with smaller companies. That was my experience in the market. Like I always tell the story about this one investor who, when I was talking about social justice and social equity, said to me that he didn't invest in social welfare, as if that's what social equity and social justice is, right? But I think post 2020, we've seen a shift in mindset. But still, it's the shift for me. I appreciate the shift. I want to always, I don't want to not say I don't appreciate the shift, but also I think a lot of times the shift that we're seeing is very much performative, right? And so I want people to put their money where their mouth is, right? I want them, when there's been a couple of coalitions that have been put together in the last couple of months, one with tobacco and alcohol, and then one with a lot of the MSOs. That's like the United States Cannabis Council. And what you can see in there is A, there's no people of color. B, there's no legacy operators. And C, there's actually no small operators in those organizations. So you'll hear them say, well, I want to help. I want to collaborate. But they want to collaborate in very small ways or very performative ways. And what we really need is a coalition and collaboration on fundamental items in the cannabis industry. And that requires more than writing a check or more than putting up a social media post. So again, I think there has been a shift, but still very performative in the shift in my experience. I'm sure other people have other experience, but very performative. And I want it to not be performative. I want it to be real. I think that there should be no fear between the two groups. They're servicing different people and different cultures. And I think that that's super important. So I'm not happy. Like, I don't think it's enough, but I think we're definitely at the start. And I think talking about this on shows like The Edge help people understand why it's so important. Like what Vlad just said about how this benefits everybody in the circle, not just one group, but communities, businesses, states, companies, is such a true statement that if you can't get behind that, then what you're really behind is enforcing systemic racism. That's what you're enforcing. If you can't understand that you can create an industry that helps all of those people, and to stand against it is really just to say, I'm good with the status quo, and I'm good with, continuing to operate in these systems of racism. That's me.
And I think Andrew D'Angelo wrote a really good article about this on Forbes the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's called "The Stoners in the Suits: Building Bridges or Endless Conflict," and it's a really high level take on what's happening here. And you guys have you've mentioned this, but I mean, let's call it for what it is. If these two sides can't work together, we're in for Prohibition 2.0. The big money is going to go after the legacy people, criminalizing again, throwing them back at jail, prison, and it's going to totally destroy both sides. And it seems so frustratingly obvious, that everybody needs to work together here. And you guys mentioned the systemic issues with racism, which I agree are a huge issue. I call it the weeping wounds of racism that that plague the country. But I think the other part is greed. Oh man, I never liked that term, the green rush, which I don't think people are using it anymore, thankfully. But when all this started, it was the green rush. I mean, what does that tell you? People getting into cannabis only for the money? That's fine. Nothing wrong with making money, but you don't have to try to go for global domination.